Hi everyone, my name is Ashlyn Bailey and I have been teaching for 3 years at York Township Elementary in the Dallastown Area School District. I have been teaching 3rd grade and I currently teach math, social studies, and science to my students. So I decided to get the STEM endorsement because I knew that this was something that could be easily intertwined with what I do instruct with my students, since I'm primarily a math and science person. I also knew I wanted to further my knowledge. I truly feel like we are all lifelong learners, and you need to be, especially in this career with things always changing. So I knew that it was a good opportunity for me to do that. I also felt like it's really important to broaden my students' knowledge about careers involving STEM topics, especially because we've grown up, sort of in a generation where we feel like we have to go to college and receive a degree. And we're losing out on those people who are really great at those hands-on kind of jobs that don't always need a 4-year degree to be successful. So I want to help my students to see that. Here are some of my favorite things. I love to go fishing, especially this time of year. I am a huge fan of interior decorating and fixing up my home, especially with DIY projects that I find on Pinterest. And I also love to binge watch on Netflix, so any shows that you recommend, let me know. And my favorite snack is a Take 5 bar. So how do students learn science? Taking my Summer 1 course really helped with this first module, and it's helping me to really understand how important it is for students to express their preconceptions about different topics, and for the teacher to address those, especially if they are misconceptions. Also, taking into consideration a student's factual knowledge and their conceptual framework is also really important when considering science. And then finally, metacognition, so helping our students to think about their thinking and really understanding what's happening. Some barriers in science that really stick out to me are things like student background and what they're bringing to the table, teacher knowledge. Sometimes teachers aren't very familiar with science, or it's not something that they are a fan of, and that can definitely impact learning. And then finally, the availability of resources, because I feel like there are a lot of resources necessary in science, and so that can definitely play a role. I feel like my classroom adheres to the information that was read in this module because I begin my instruction with a discussion of student beliefs. We really talk about what they're bringing to the table with those preconceptions. I also help to then build upon what students know and expand their knowledge with the use of those hands-on and interactive labs. And then finally, we really do use that metacognition process when I encourage my students to think about their findings and draw those conclusions from the lab that has taken place. My STEM perspective at this point is definitely the coordination across disciplines. I really feel like all of the aspects of STEM could be, used separately, but in my eyes, truly using STEM is when you're intertwining the science, the technology, engineering, and mathematics, and showing how specific aspects of one discipline can always show up in another. And that's really, how I plan to incorporate it more into my classroom. So thanks for listening.